What's up, y'all? I'm Jordy, and today we're doing a tier list of all of the new megas in the Legend ZA DLC Mega Dimensions. We've got this sheet here that we can use to compare all their stats. We have the typings of the new megas as well. We don't have abilities yet, but I'm going to do a little bit of speculation and a little bit of assumptions. Some things might get tiered a little bit lower because they definitely need a good ability going forward in Champions, but I'll also be talking about whether I think they'll be viable in Legend ZA competitive, though that's less important in my opinion than when these eventually get into Champions. We got this sheet here made by Roy Dadadu. I'll make sure to link it in the description below if you want to check out all this information. There's a lot of good information on here. But also, after this first one on the Mega Raichus, there's going to be some spoilers. If you don't want to see the new megas yet, just go ahead, put this in your watch later, come back to it. It'll still be here. I'm not going to delete this video or anything. Unless I get like maybe a really bad take, then maybe. We'll see. But alright, getting started here, we've got Mega Raichu X. It looks like it got a lot of bulk for some reason. We've got 40 extra points in defense, no extra speed, 15 extra special defense, and then 45 attack. Gaining 45 attack is a lot, and it can use Volt Tackle, which is a really strong move. And in Legend ZA, for some reason, when Mega Raichu X uses Volt Tackle, it gets a +1 attack, so that might be some sort of hint at what ability it'll have someday. But overall, these stats are kinda bad. Like, Raichu with a Life Orb almost hits just as hard, and the bulk isn't doing much for you when you have 60 HP, your Volt Tackle's gonna do recoil damage as well. So honestly, this is gonna be the first needs a good ability to do anything, because I'm just really not seeing the vision on this one. So we're gonna go ahead, and which one of these is X? This is X. We're gonna put you down in D tier. Now D tier doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna be bad, but it's gonna need a good ability to make itself actually work. Now Mega Raichu Y is a totally different story. We've got 160 special attack and 130 speed. They didn't touch the bulk at all, they only put 10 in attack, so there's very little wasted potential on this one. 160 special attack hits really hard. Hitting on the special side as well is a lot better than hitting on the physical side for this kind of mon, since Raichu has no way of avoiding Intimidate. This still will need some sort of ability to be good, but the fact that it has Lightning Rod before it Mega Evolves, and it can actually take advantage of that with its massive special attack, is really good. It looks like we've got a little Miraidon Jr. here. Now, the frailty will be an issue on Mega Raichu Y. Your defenses are really, really bad, if I'm being honest. But 130 speed, like, there's a lot of new megas that go above 130 speed. So you might be like, oh, 130 is not that much anymore. But when we move into Champions, if we don't have Fluttermane right away, if we don't have Chen Pao right away, and there's only a small handful of megas that are really faster than you, no one's going to use Electrode, maybe Regieleki's not in the game, this might be one of the fastest mons there is. This might be a speed tier 2 hit, if Mega Raichu Y is any good. So I'm going to go ahead and call Raichu Y an A tier. I'm not confident enough to go up to S. It is really frail, and if it has like no ability, like if it gets the ability Pressure or keeps Lightning Rod, it's not that crazy. Like, it does look like a mini Miraidon, but it might not actually be able to hit quite as hard as you're hoping if it doesn't have some way to boost that. But I'm assuming it'll get something. Alright, moving on to another revealed Mega, Chimecho. Mega Chimecho gains Steel typing, gains 30 defense, 30 special defense, and looks like 40 in special attack. They didn't touch its speed or attack. Thank goodness they didn't touch its attack. I would have liked to see them actually take points out of speed, since this is probably statted out to be a Trick Room attacker, but it's not actually super slow, like Ursaluna is still going to be able to move before it. Really good typing, really good stats, but for a Mega? Like, you could use Mega Metagross with the same typing and just have insane stats. Over this, 135 is like okay, but like what I said with Raichu, it's not that high of a stat. At least this one hits on the special side. I'm assuming it keeps Levitate, which is a good combo with Steel typing. But honestly, if it gets Levitate, it's kind of just a Bronzong that attacks on the special side and doesn't do it all that great. So I'm really not impressed with this. This might, but the typing and the potential for Levitate is so good that I can't put it down with Raichu. Where are you, anyway? You're around here somewhere. Here you are. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to put it in C tier. I know it's better than Raichu, just baseline what we have right now. Maybe Raichu will get a great ability, but I just don't see it. And even in ZA, if you have to start out with Chimecho just as the pure Psychic type, that's pretty bad too. I would almost say Raichu is better in ZA, but honestly, Pikachu with a Light Ball is better than Raichu in ZA, I would think. So, yeah, not super impressed by that one. Moving on, we've got a new Mega Absol, and they did it right this time. Oh, Mega Absol Z is awesome. It actually has a secondary typing in Ghost, which is fantastic. It lets you get around fighting moves, lets you get around Fake Out. Very cool, very good choice. They put even more into its physical attack, but only by 4 points. And they didn't waste anything in special attack. They kept that at 75, they know this is a physical attacker, and they put its speed all the way up to 151. And that is a funny number, because that is 1 point faster than Calyrex Shadow. We finally have the thing that just destroys Cali Shadow, and it's Mega Absol Z. I'm so here for it. Now, I don't know what kind of ability this is going to get, but in Legend ZA, Z-Megas, like Mega Absol Z here, have the special effect where their moves can fire off more quickly than other Pokemon, but they burn through their Mega Energy quicker. I don't know how exactly that's going to translate into champions when they come in. It probably won't translate, it'll probably just give them all unique abilities for themselves. Hopefully Mega Absol Z gets something better than Magic Bounce, because this is looking pretty good. It's super frail, but it's super strong and ridiculously fast. That speed bumps it up a whole tier or two. I'm going to put Absol Z. Honestly, I want to say it's better than Raichu Y, but I'm not ready to say S tier yet. So I'm going to put it here in A tier above Raichu Y. S tier is a bit pushing it, because like as good as it is it going to compete with... It's going to have to compete with Mega Salamence, Mega Metagross, Mega Charizard Y. When it gets a good ability, then it can totally compete with those, but just stats alone, it's a little bit weaker, but don't underestimate that speed. That speed of 151 is insane. Next up, we got, I think, probably my favorite Mega from the DLC, and that's Mega Staraptor. They made it a fighting flying type, so it actually competes with Hawlucha, which is a little bit awkward. I don't know why they made 2 fighting flyings in this DLC, but having a base Staraptor form with Intimidate is super great. We saw Salamence was able to do that, for example. Oh, you get great advantage of your first ability, where like Absol isn't really going to take advantage of Pressure or Justified or anything before it Mega Evolves. Staraptor will always get some value before you Mega. And then you Mega, you change your type, that's really valuable. You could potentially keep your normal typing to have a Ghost immunity, and then you can change it on the fly to drop your Rock weakness, gain some resistances, just change the type chart a little bit. Now the stats are certainly interesting on this. It only gained a little bit of attack, but it gained a lot of bulk. Plus 30 defense, plus 30 special defense, and only plus 10 in speed. But I'd say that plus 10 in speed is pretty valuable, because 100 is a really crowded speed tier. You're slower than Garchomp, you're slower than Landorus Incarnate, you speed tie with Kangaskhan, you speed tie with Charizard Y, you speed tie with base Salamence. So getting just a little bit of bump in speed is probably all it needed to be a little bit better there. I wouldn't be mad if it was super fast, but Staraptor, it didn't really have great defensive stats, and now that it is actually fairly bulky, I'm happy. Especially because Staraptor gained a lot of new moves. It gained Bulk Up, it gained Brick Break. Apparently it gets Blaze Kick. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, it always had Close Combat. Close Combat Brave Bird is insane coverage. I hope it gets Scrappy or something like that, so it can just nuke Aegislash and Golden Go as well. But even if not, I mean, they gave it Blaze Kick for some reason, so maybe they're saying that's not what its ability is going to be. I love this thing. It'll definitely be good. I'm not confident in putting it in S tier, but I'll put it right here in between, if it'll let me, Absol and Raichu Y. I'm super excited to be using this, both in ZA and in Champions, though I think it'll be a lot better in Champions because of base Staraptor having Intimidate. Now, next up, we've got Mega Garchomp Z. And this is the most baffling one I've seen yet. Like, a lot of these are super weird, but this one is the weirdest. First of all, as far as I can tell, Mega Garchomp Z, the stone is not yet available in Legend ZA. But it will be soon, so I would assume, So we'll just talk about it. First off, it drops the ground typing entirely and becomes pure dragon. I don't think we've seen any Mega ever do that before. That is really, really weird. Second of all, it becomes a fast special attacker. They didn't touch its physical attack at all. They actually took some points out of its physical defense, and they just bumped its special attack up to 141 and its speed up to 151. Now, don't sleep on that 151 speed stat like I'm saying, but this one isn't as much a direct counter to Calyrex Shadow. But what they did do is they gave Garchomp Nasty Plot, so 141 special attack, 151 speed, Nasty Plot, access to Garchomp's bulk before you Mega, and pretty close to Garchomp's bulk after you Mega. Like, Garchomp's a very bulky mon. I could see this maybe like not utilizing its full speed stat most of the time, and like you go modest, kind of a bulkier set, get a Nasty Plot off, and then, but like then what? Flamethrower, Draco Meteor, non-stab Earth Power? I feel like your Earth Power would probably be stronger before you Mega Evolve with your ground stab, but I guess it's something for coverage. Very baffling, very confusing. I cannot imagine this is bad, but I fear it will be outclassed by just using regular Garchomp. It's way better than regular Mega Garchomp. Garchomp Z is where it's at for sure. And if Garchomp Z gets an interesting ability, that could maybe push this into S tier. But for now, I'm putting it down in B, because like, it is confusing how they did it. I think these Megas in A are much more straightforward and understandable. Garchomp Z could be S tier, it could be D tier. It could be something you never see. It could warp the meta around it. I'm just putting it in the middle in B here for now, because just on stats alone, it's not that impressive, but it's definitely scary. Next up, another Z Mega, Mega Lucario Z. And they did this one, honestly, better than regular Mega Lucario, depending on ability. Because Mega Lucario, the original one, was a mixed attacker. This one is an incredibly fast special attacker. They actually took 10 points out of attack, they added nothing to bulk, and they just, boom, special attack, boom, speed, have fun with it. And I think that's really great. One thing to note as well with Mega Lucario Z is they also gave it access to Water Pulse in the DLC. And that to me is a hint that it might be getting Mega Launcher, which would boost the power of its Aura Sphere, it would boost the power of its Dark Pulse, it gets Dragon Pulse, it gets Water Pulse, it even gets Heal Pulse, which does get a boost by Mega Launcher. But 151 speed, 164 special attack, it has access to Nasty Plot, base Lucario has Inner Focus, so you could get away with some stuff, avoiding fake outs that way, so it has something it can do in its base form. I love when Megas have something they can do in their base form to take advantage of timing your Mega Evolution, so that's really nice. Though the power and speed boost you get, you're probably going to be Megaing this right away and just attacking. If it does have Mega Launcher, crazy powerful. Not sure what else to say. It's a very frail, fast special attacker. It'll be kind of crazy. I think I'm much more scared of this than Garchomp Z, honestly. Same speed stat, more special attack, and a good hint at what its ability would be. And also 2 stabs, which, that doesn't hurt. I don't know why Garchomp got rid of its ground typing. This is going to be my first S tier. If for some reason it doesn't have Mega Launcher, I'm not going to be worried. It'll drop down, I guess, because adaptability on regular Mega Lucario is super good. You need the damage boost from something. Mega Launcher just seems great on it. It's going to be my first S tier here. Just that combination of speed and special attack is basically unprecedented. Like, that's 1 point faster than Cali Shadow and 1 point weaker than Cali Shadow. So this thing is a menace. Alright, next up, we've got a very fun Mega, Mega Golurk. Its stats are okay. They're about what you would expect. It keeps its 55 speed, which is, it could have been better. If they had taken like 10 out of speed, I would like this a lot more. but it's going to have a lot of competition with like the Ursalunas as a ground type in Trick Room. It's got 159 attack, which is a lot. 105 defenses off of its already good 89 HP is really cool. And ground ghost typing, while it has a ton of weaknesses, is really cool offensively. I know in ZA this is going to be awesome because a ground type is already awesome. Stab Earthquake off a powerful Mega with 159 attack. This is only a little bit weaker than Mega Garchomp, so you know that's crazy. And unlike Mega Garchomp, you don't have a 4 times weakness to Ice. So I think this, as long as I haven't played with Mega Golurk yet, but as long as its movement speed is good, because that's one of the things Garchomp really did well, this thing could be good. Because I know you get like access to Heavy Slam as a chase move. Phantom Force is a good chase move. And you don't have that 4 times weakness to basically take advantage of. Because like everything could run Ice Fang or Ice Punch or Ice Beam as coverage and just nuke Garchomp. This might be the new Garchomp. The speed stat does not matter much. I don't know. Garchomp might still be the king, but this thing is going to give it a run for its money. However, in Champions, I don't really see much reason to use something like this. The base form Golurk has like no good ability to take advantage of. Honestly, if you're running Mega Golurk in VGC, I wouldn't be surprised if you just use Klutz as its ability, in case like a Porygon 2 with Trace comes out, traces your Klutz and no longer has Eviolite, you know? But that's because you're not going to want No Guard, because then you'll get hit by Sheer Cold as you swap in. Yeah, I'm going to put this down in C tier with Chingling. Chimecho. Raichu way down. I'm sorry, Raichu. Stats alone, Raichu is nothing. Golurk, it could go up with a good ability, obviously. They gave it access to Fissure in this DLC, but I don't see that sticking since regular Golurk has no guard. So I really doubt they're going to do something with that. But if they did keep that for some reason, then there's no reason to Mega Evolve it. Just use regular Golurk, max out its speed, Choice Scarf, Fissure things. But that's not going to happen. I'm like 99% sure that's not going to happen. Alright, next up we've got Mega Meowstic. Mega Meowstic is interesting because it looks like it's a combination of the male and the female Meowstics. Because the female Meowstic and the male Meowstic, they have the same stats, but they have different abilities and they have different move pools. The female is more offensively oriented. The male is more defensively oriented. It gets Prankster with like Screens and Thunder Wave, whereas the female has access to like Earth Power and maybe Moonblast, Psychic moves. So honestly, I'm guessing this is going to get some sort of ability that has both offensive and defensive utility. And what I think that's going to be is going to be Psychic Surge. Like, look at these stats. This is very unimpressive. 124 speed is kind of fast, 143 special attack is kind of strong, but that bulk is really kind of meh. So honestly, Psychic Surge is what I'm calling for here. It's only got one type, it's Psychic typing. Mega Meowstic, it could have the offensive utility of spamming Expanding Force, the defensive utility of blocking priority moves. I think it just makes the most sense here. I know people want Psychic Surge Delphox. I don't think that's going to happen. This thing has way too much competition with Delphox if it doesn't have a much better ability than Delphox. So I'm just going to assume it gets Psychic Surge. Now, even if it does get Psychic Surge, it's still not the most impressive Mon in the world. Like, super strong, super fast, super frail, Expanding Force. That's what it would do. And that's a worthwhile thing to do, honestly. Can support your team, can do big damage, it's relatively fast. And as a base ability, you'd probably use Female Meowstic with Competitive, so you could get even stronger. Problem is, the main thing to trigger your Competitive is going to be Incineroar, who's entirely immune to Expanding Force, but you would build your team around taking out Incineroar, so honestly, I think this is pretty good. I'm going to put Meowstic with the strong assumption that it actually gets Psychic Surge here at the top of A. I think if it actually gets Psychic Surge, this is going to be one of the best in the new Megas. Now, it's not quite as good as a lot of the older Megas, I would think. I think Salamence, Metagross, and Kangaskhan in particular all really give this thing a run for its money, but it looks really good to me, but only if it gets Psychic Surge. If it doesn't get Psychic Surge, put this in D. Mega Crabominable. Now, here is how you do a stat on a Trick Room Mega. 33 speed, The only things catching this that are relevant are Torkoal and Amoonguss. However, Torkoal and Amoonguss are going to be a problem for this. However, it gets access to the move Ice Hammer to lower your speed even more, so we might actually be okay. 97 HP, 157 attack, 122 defense. That's a lot of defense. 107 special defense. How did they find all the numbers for this? Wow. This thing got really good stats. Oh, because they took 10 out of speed. Fighting Ice is insane offensive coverage. You're what's gonna wall you? Golden Go, I guess. And this thing can do a ton of damage. Base Crabominable, I'm pretty sure it gets Hyper Cutter, so you're immune to Intimidate before you Mega Evolve. And then when you're Mega, presumably, look at the size of those claws. It's gonna have some sort of offensive ability, whether it's Tough Claw or Iron Fist or I don't even know what else. I do think it's goofy though, the way it stands on those two little feet. It looks very off balance. I feel like you could just push it and it would fall over. But you get this thing up under Trick Room and it's going to go crazy. If you don't get it up under Trick Room, it's going to do something. Because it's like, I was going to say it's going to get taken out by all its weaknesses, but it actually has a lot of bulk. This thing is going to be really hard to KO in one hit. So it's going to get at least one big blast off, which might not be worth your Mega, because regular Crabominable is like also kind of okay. Going down from 43 to 33 doesn't really catch anything. 43 already catches Ursaluna and like King Gambit and Calyrex Ice Rider, whereas 33 is not quite enough to catch Amoonguss. So there's not really anything relevant in that range, but all the bulk you gain is really massive, so I could see this being very good as a Trick Room Mega. I'm going to put it here with Garchomp. I think it's better than Garchomp Z. I don't think it's as good as any of the A tiers because it depends on Trick Room. But if you get Trick Room up, it's better than all of these A tiers. It's just the catch that you need Trick Room up. And maybe it's good in ZA. Like, Ice types are always nice to have, but I don't know. It could be the Ice type in ZA. It's not bad. It just has a lot of weaknesses. Next up, speaking of a lot of weaknesses, Golisopod actually only has one now because they dropped its water typing and made it Bug Steel, which is absolutely baffling, but I'm totally here for Mega Golisopod. Golisopod has had the problem of its ability making it awful. Emergency exit, you go below half, you have to switch out whether you attack this turn or not. It's really rough, but the Mega has a huge opportunity to give it any other ability. And any other ability would make this Mon a lot better. They also gave it access to some new moves. It has U-turn now, which Golisopod not having that originally was super weird. But this typing is just confusing to me. Like, Bug Water is such good typing. And then they made it Bug Steel, which is also good typing, but now you have a 4x weakness. So this is definitely a Mega where you have to time when you're going to Mega Evolve based on what you're facing. You could totally keep the water typing and liquidation something, for example. Or if you're about to face down like a rock move, turn into a steel type, you know? But 150 attack is nice. 175 defense and 120 special defense is so good. This feels like Mega Scizor if Mega Scizor was good. I'm operating under the assumption that it's going to get some sort of good ability. Like, maybe something referencing its water typing. Something that could like give it partial resistance to fire so it only becomes 2 times, or maybe some power boost on water moves. I can't imagine they would give it Water Bubble. That just doesn't make sense flavor wise because it doesn't have a water bubble. But some sort of ability plus these stats is just gonna go so crazy. First impression with 150 attack is already just silly. It gets Swords Dance. It can be a powerful Trick Room sweeper. I'm here for it. I'm here for Mega Golisopod. This thing, I'm going to put it in S tier because I know this thing can be so good. If they just give it emergency exit still though, or even an upgraded emergency exit, like how Wimp Out and emergency exit are the same, I could see them giving it the ability Tactical Retreat, and it's just another clone of that ability, but it sounds cooler. And that would put it down in D tier. You would never use it if it has that. But I'm saying it's going to get something, even if it gets like Swarm. This is a great Mega. Next up, we've got a Mythical, because they're just giving away Mythicals Megas now, apparently, and it's Mega Magearna. Now, for Magearna, I'm going to have to compare this to a Restricted, because it's only ever available as a Restricted in niche formats, like Regulation J, which is going on right now. But, oh my goodness, these stats. 170 special attack, 95 speed. It has Soul Heart as its base ability. I don't know if they would change that. And it's got amazing typing. Honestly, Magearna on its own is already so good that there's no way this isn't an S tier restricted mega. Like, you gain special attack, you gain a lot of physical attack, and that's kind of a waste. But gaining 30 speed up to 95, now you can actually do some stuff with that speed. Before, Magearna was only Trick Room. And honestly, if you're going to go Trick Room with Magearna, you might just use base Magearna with some sort of other held item. But access to Mega Magearna, that seems worthwhile, especially if it gets some sort of different ability. As good as Soul Heart is, if you can take advantage of Soul Heart and then get something else on top of that, that's just crazy. And you can go fast, and you're still really bulky, really strong. 170 is a crazy special attack stat. And then talking about ZA, this will compete with Xerneas, but one-on-one, this thing will kick Xerneas' butt. So I'm perfectly content to say this is S tier in both ZA and any competitive format it ends up in. The thing is, it won't really be competing with any of these other megas because it will be a restricted. So I guess in ZA, it's like, do you want to actually mega your Magearna, or do you want to bring another mega like regular Mega Garchomp plus regular Magearna without its mega? But it's a good mon here. Scovillain, however, is not a good mon. Look at what they did to this guy. They gave it 20 extra in both defenses, which is like fine, it's still frail. And then 30 extra in both attacking stats? What are you doing? It gained no speed, so it has the extremely awkward 75 speed, which I guess if it keeps Chlorophyll, there's something there, because the 75 speed with Chlorophyll is enough to do a lot of stuff. But, man, super frail. 138 isn't even that high. Like, I was making fun of Raichu for having 135 attack and saying that's too low. 138 is basically the same, and you've got it twice. The only thing I can think of for why they might have done that is base Scovillain with Moody. And then you can be like, run a mixed attacking set, see which boost you get when you protect turn 1, and then start attacking with that stat on your Mega. But that's silly. And like, if you're running Protect, you only get 3 moves to really do a mix set with. It doesn't really make any sense. This thing, it has to have a great ability, or this is just absolutely garbage. This is easily the next D tier. Don't use this in ZA. Don't use this in competitive unless its ability is insane. I don't know what to say. I guess in ZA it's easier to use bad Pokemon, and Mega Evolution is a lot more valuable, but I don't know what you're getting out of this. Honestly, this is definitely a bad mon. Next up, we've got Mega Glamora, and I've heard some really negative takes about this one. And that's because they put, 35 points in its physical attack and 20 points in special attack. I honestly like this Mega for one reason. It has 101 speed. 101 is a huge number. That makes you 1 point faster than Charizard. That makes you 1 point faster than Kangaskhan. That makes you 1 point faster than base Salamence. This is a really good speed tier. Like, I don't know if all those mons are still going to be as relevant as they were before, but 100 is a really important speed tier, and 101 is great to get up to. It's 1 point slower than Garchomp, though, so that could really hinder its viability. Plus, Glamora with the Toxic Spike setting ability that it has before it Mega Evolves lets you switch in on a physical move, get up Toxic Spikes, then Mega. That's fantastic. Its bulk goes up a little, looks like 15-15. It only gets a little bit of a boost to special attack, but its special attack was already high. The biggest problem with this Mega is the cost of Mega Evolving it. It means you can't use like Power Herb Meteor Beam Glamora or like Focus Sash Glamora. But I think that 101 speed gives it a little bit of viability. In Legend ZA, I highly recommend not using this because it's 4 times weak to ground, and ZA ranked is Earthquake City. But I think in Champions, this thing will be pretty good. I'm going to put it up here in A. That's probably higher than a lot of other people are going to rank this mon, just because of how goofy the stat distribution is. But 101 speed is a big deal. Like, the same with Staraptor. This thing would not be good if it was still down at 100 speed. The fact that they get over 100 is really important. Next up, we've got Mega Tatsugiri. This thing's a joke. Like, these stats are still bad. Tatsugiri's stats were bad. Now Tatsugiri's stats are still bad. Thank goodness it gains defense, though. So, like, this thing could maybe stick around and take a hit. It'll be... If you're going to use Dondozo anyway, you might be better off just using a Tatsugiri that has another item. Focus Sash, Choice Scarf. I don't know. The boost you get to speed from 82 to 92 is catching very little. Like, with Glamora, if they had boosted this by 20 speed and put it up to 102, then I'd be like, okay, Mega Tatsugiri's kind of cooking. But unless this has some sort of ability that makes it really good, I'm not sure what you're doing with this. Like, I've heard people suggest maybe it has some sort of ability that interacts with Dondozo, but then you would have to, like, Mega Evolve before you swap in the Dondozo, unless they allow you to Mega Evolve while you're in Dondozo's mouth, which could be something. Like if Mega Tatsugiri can attack from inside Dondozo's mouth or something, then yeah, this is a broken Mega. But I'm really not expecting to see anything like that. I'm expecting a kind of basic ability, or maybe even to just keep Commander, because it'd be weird if you could turn off Commander by Mega Evolving Tatsu. Then you like have to wait until your Dondozo goes down to use Mega Tatsu, and then you might have already lost your Mega for no reason. I think it'd be better to use regular Tatsugiri, Dondozo, and a powerful Mega like Kangaskhan. I think that would just make a better team overall. So I'm putting Tatsugiri down here in... I don't put it in D. I just, unless it has some sort of crazy ability, there's nothing here. However, in Legend ZA, Dondozo and Tatsugiri, apparently they do form a combo. When you send in Dondozo, it gets boost and can't switch out. But again, I don't think you use Mega Tatsugiri. I think you just use Focus Sash or some sort of Berry or even Life Orb Tatsugiri. It's way harder than Mega Tatsugiri. Alright, moving on. Baxcalibur. Baxcalibur is going to be in the next ranked season. When you get to rank S, you'll be able to get this Mega Stone. So you can't actually get this yet, but it's coming very soon. And these stats are just absurd. I mean, it's a pseudo-legendary, so it's going to have absurd stats. They did waste 30 in its special attack, that's pretty smart. But 175 attack is brutally strong. 115, 117, 101 in bulk. That's a lot of bulk. Like, you're a Dragon Ice type, you got some good weaknesses, but like, you can live super effective hits with that amount of bulk. 87 speed, they kept it slow, which is probably for the best. But you have access to like Scale Shot and Dragon Dance to become a little faster. I think the biggest problem with Mega Baxcalibur is going to be what is its ability. Because regular Baxcalibur would like Loaded Dice, or would like Clear Amulet. Both of those make it a lot more powerful. I'm not sure how Mega Baxcalibur would fare, because like, if you're vulnerable to Intimidate in base form, and then your Mega doesn't have something to make up for that, I don't see why you would use this over just regular Baxcalibur with like a Clear Amulet or something. Now, in ZA Ranked, this thing has insane stats. Totally use this once you get the Mega Stone. I think it'll be great. But as far as Megas go in Ranked, like, Champions, I don't know if you would really use this. It needs a good ability. I can't put it any lower than B because its stats are insane. But if it has a good ability, it would deserve to be S or A tier. But just the fact that it's outclassed by its base form for now, before it gets an ability, it's going to get bumped down to B. I still think it's a better use than Chimecho or Golurk in Champions. But we'll see about that. Alright, next up, we've got some special Mega Evolutions. First up, Mega Zeraora. Now this is a mythical Pokemon, so either in ZA or in Champions someday, if they have a mythical format, it'll count as a restricted. But look at those stats, 157 attack, 147 special attack, 153 speed. This is a powerful, fast, mixed attacker with honestly below average bulk. I don't see how this competes with any other restricted you could use. Like, yeah, it's super fast at 153. But you have like 3 151 megas they just added, so you could use those and like a good restricted, like Miraidon maybe. 157 is a lot of attack, but base Zeraora is vulnerable to Intimidate. 147 special attack is good, but it's actually less than Raichu Y, so I don't love this. I think in a restricted format, this is kind of useless, both in ZA ranked and in Champions. Like, you can use it for fun. It'll be a fun mon for sure. And maybe in singles, if they don't ban Mega Zeraora, it could probably... That looks like OU tier stats. So if you like singles, maybe it'll be fun to use there. But it's not going to do anything in doubles. Mostly because of its mythical status, making it a restricted Pokemon. Now, Heatran is not a restricted Pokemon. This thing can be compared to everything else. And they went crazy with these stats. 30 into attack is whatever. I guess you use Heavy Slam sometimes. But it was already strong enough to pick up Flutter Mane most of the time. They kept its 106 defense, which is kind of surprising. But they took 10 out of speed, which could be good for a Trick Room attacker, but bad if you want to set Tailwind. And then 106 special defense went up to 141, and its 130 special attack went up to 175. So this is like as strong as Mega Chandelure, and very tanky, and just a little bit slow. Like, I don't know if they would get rid of Flash Fire. If they just keep Flash Fire, this is just a really good item on Heatran. But you're competing with the possibility of using a different good item on Heatran and another powerful Mega next to Heatran. So it seems like it's a good Mega, and if it has some sort of special ability that Heatran doesn't already have, that could put it over the edge to really good. But right now, it just seems as good as Heatran is. Like, if Heatran's good, Mega Heatran's good. It's just the opportunity cost of using another Mega, which might be worth it. So I'm happy to put this up pretty high. I think this goes A tier. Just, it's got great stats. It's not quite like Baxcalibur, where you would always want to use the base form unless you have a great ability. You could totally use Mega Heatran, even if it just keeps Flash Fire. Very good mod. In ranked ZA, you're going to be a little iffy because of that 4x ground weakness, though. But still, like, Chandelure was good in ranked ZA, so I don't see why Mega Heatran couldn't be. Huge special attack, go burrow with fire types. The speed drop doesn't even matter. And what do we got? Is this our last one? Yes, our last one is Mega Darkrai. Mega Darkrai is probably the weirdest stat distribution they got on this one. They did this thing so weird. Now, Mega Darkrai is a mythical, so it'll be the same tier as Zeraora or Magearna. And competing with those is hard, because Darkrai's thing it does in Reg J is be really fast and put things to sleep with Dark Void. They took away its speed, though. It now has 85 base speed. Which, like, what? They didn't add a secondary typing. They wasted 30 points in attack. And its bulk went through the roof. 70, 130, 130. That is actually really tanky. Maybe it's not restricted tanky, but it's really tanky. So, I don't know. I can't imagine they get rid of Bad Dreams its signature ability. Unless it has some sort of broken ability to replace Bad Dreams, though, I don't see what the point of this is. Like, I guess you could still be Darkrai, put stuff to sleep fast, and then Mega Evolve to be bulky, but I'm not sure I get it. This isn't any better than using, like, another restricted. You could use Kyogre instead of this. And Dark Void isn't even that good. You have to set gravity for it to even hit. And if you can't have access to Focus Sash or Wide Lens because you're holding a Mega Stone, it's even less reliable. I am going to put this low tier. Now, yeah, and I don't see why you would want to use this in ZA ranked either. Sleep is basically useless in ZA. And you're going to be in a tier where Mega Magearna and Mega Xerneas are available. And if you really want a Dark type, there's a Veltal. I don't know. You don't use this. Unless you just want to have fun. If you want to have fun, you can do whatever you want. ZA is just a for fun game anyway. But that's it. Here is our tier list. Is there anything I feel like I need to change? I think I put these all about in the right spot. Let me know what you think. Do you think Golisopod and Lucario Z are the S tiers of the bunch? Or do you think I missed another S tier? Do you think none of these deserved to be S tier? Let me know. And also tell me, what abilities are these D tiers going to get that actually make them worthwhile? But anyways, I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like on this video if you did. Subscribe to my channel. All that. But anyways, I'm Jordy, and alright, peace.